Hey guys, welcome to a new series where I plan a trip that I actually can't take. This is what I would do if I could travel to Belize. So what is Belize? It's a small country located in Central America right below Mexico and right next to Guatemala. It boasts a Caribbean coastline and packs a real punch. From Mayan ruins, lush rainforests, and beautiful reefs, Belize has it all. In this video, I'll tell you about where I would stay, what I would do, how I would get around, and how much I'd spend on a trip to Belize. So what's the best time to visit? If I were to visit Belize, I would plan a week-long trip for early May. Since Belize sits along the Caribbean, it has a rainy season and a dry season. The dry season lasts from November to May, and the rainy season goes from June through October. Belize will see a spike in travel during the dry season, which makes the rainy season a perfect time to visit if you're traveling on a budget. I think May is the perfect time to visit as the dry season is ending and the crowds are dissipating, so you'll find that you have tons of activities and restaurants where you'll practically be to yourself. So how do we get there? The main international airport is Philip S.W. Goldson International Airport. It's located 15 minutes away from Belize City, and that's where we're going to be flying in. Pretty much every major U.S. airport offers direct flights to Belize. You're looking at a travel time of about 4 to 8 hours depending on where you're flying out of. I would be catching a flight from Pittsburgh to Belize for a total travel time of 7 hours. And since I'm flying from the US, I won't need to worry about a visa. Check immigration.gov.bz for visa requirements. So let's talk about getting around. So we've made it to Belize, and now we need to figure out our transportation situation. We're going to spend half of our time in San Ignacio and the other half of our time in Key Calker. If I'm traveling with a group, or even if I'm traveling alone, I'm going to rent a car from Crystal Auto Rentals. It's a Belizean company that offers car rentals. We're going to rent a car because driving around Belize is not very stressful, and renting a car will make things much cheaper. Google Maps works just fine in Belize, so you won't have a hard time getting around. The roads in Belize are mostly paved, so you don't have to worry too much about off-roading. Since I'm younger than 25, I'm going to have to put up double my security deposit to rent a car. But I'll get that back when I return the car. When we rent the car, it's going to be important for us to say that the drop-off location will be at Crystal Auto Belize City, not the airport. The reason we're going to do this is because they offer free transfers from the Belize City office location to the water taxi, and that's what we're going to use to get to Key Calker. While on Key Calker, we really aren't going to need anything to get around since the entire island is 100% walkable. Now you can rent bicycles for $5 a day or golf carts for $30 a day, but you really don't need it. There are no motor vehicles on the island, so that just goes to show you how small the island is. So where do we stay? Since we're going to be spending half of our time in San Ignacio and the other half of our time in Key Calker, we're going to need 2 different accommodations for the entirety of our trip. If I'm traveling alone, I'm going to stay at Bella's Backpackers Hostel in San Ignacio for about $13 a night. This hostel offers free parking, so we'll be able to park our car, and more importantly, they offer free rum punch every single night. This hostel is located right in the city of San Ignacio, which will make it convenient for all of our excursions, since that's going to be our home base. If I'm traveling in a group, I will look to get an Airbnb in San Ignacio for around $400 for 4 nights, so that comes out to $100 per person if you're traveling in a group of 4. Now let's talk about where we'll be staying in Key Calker. If I'm traveling alone, I'm going to be staying at Bella's Backpackers again as they have a Key Calker location. Now this is one of the only options we have for hostels on the island, so we don't have much to choose from. However, we can still enjoy the free rum punch. The hostel on the island also has a dock which leads right up to the ocean, which turns into a great spot to watch the sunset. The hostel on the island is going to run you about $17 a night per person. If I'm traveling in a group, I'm going to look to get an Airbnb for around $1,500 to $1,800 a night. That's going to come out to around $450 per person if you're in a group of 4. And trust me, you're going to want to splurge on this since the views from the Airbnb will be unbeatable. You can enjoy complimentary snorkeling, kayaking, paddleboarding, all just from your Airbnb. Alright, let's get into what exactly we're going to be doing while we're in Belize. We're going to start off in San Ignacio. And the first activity we're going to do is we're going to head down to the Green Iguana Conservation Project. We'll drive over to San Ignacio Resort and Hotel, which should be a 5 to 10 minute drive from our hostel or Airbnb, and we're going to take a tour of their iguana conservation habitat. The tour costs roughly $12 a person and lasts for 1 to 1.5 hours. This is an extremely informative tour where you will learn about green iguanas, and even get a few hands-on experiences. Once we are done with the tour, we're going to hop into our car and drive over to Cajalpech. This should be a 10-minute drive from the resort. Cajalpech is a Mayan site that is located right in the heart of San Ignacio City. The entrance fee is $5, and you can expect to spend 1 to 2 hours here. It's worth noting that getting a guide to walk you through the site can be extremely useful, as they will be able to explain things that you might not pick up on had you just taken a self-guided tour. Next up on our itinerary is making a 30-minute drive over to Zunantunich. Zunantunich is another Mayan site, and the magnitude of this site is going to dwarf Cajalpech. These Mayan ruins are truly magnificent, and you can make the climb to the top of El Castillo, which is the highest structure in Zunantunich. El Castillo offers breathtaking views of Belize, and you might even be lucky to see Guatemala if the weather permits. So that pretty much wraps up our first day in San Ignacio. However, if you find yourself with more energy to explore, we can head back to San Ignacio Resort Hotel for a 1.5-hour night critters tour. You're going to get strapped with flashlights and walk into the jungle with a guide to look for the night critters of Belize. You'll find yourself face to face with tarantulas, scorpions, owls, and if you're lucky, you might even find a couple kinkajous. This tour costs $40 a person and needs to be booked during the day, so this could be done while you visit the Green Iguana Conservation Habitat. The next day, we're going to go on a chocolate making excursion at Eja Chocolate. After a 10 to 15 minute drive to their office, we will depart to their cacao farm. Here, they will teach us all about the different farming techniques used to craft the perfect cacao pod. Once we are done with the farm, they take us back to their San Ignacio office to teach us how the Mayans made chocolate from the cacao pods. We spend 2 to 2.5 hours at this excursion touring the farm, making and eating chocolate. Now, this isn't your traditional chocolate. This is the type of chocolate that Mayans made, and you might be surprised to find out that this is actually quite bitter. The cost of this experience is $50 a person. Once we're all chocoed out, we're going to take a road trip down Hummingbird Highway to our next excursion, ziplining Angel Falls. The road trip will last about 1.5 hours, but don't worry, we're going to go through beautiful lush green rainforests and the views will be unforgettable. Angel Falls ziplining is the highest zipline in Belize. You will ride 8 different ziplines, all while ziplining above valleys, flying through canopies, and soaring over the lush rainforest below you. This is truly an adventure you won't forget. The ziplining experience will last you 1.5 to 2 hours and will cost $90 a person. So once we are done ziplining, we're going to head back to our accommodation to rest up for a full day of caving. In our final full day at San Ignacio, we're going to be doing a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We will be visiting a sacred Mayan sacrificial cave. We're going to spend the entire day hiking, crossing rivers, squeezing through tight spaces, and climbing rocks, all while being in a pitch black cave. The ATM cave in Belize is a must-do experience, ranked as the #1 sacrificial cave by National Geographic. You cannot miss this experience. For $125, we will be picked up at our accommodation by our guide, and they will take us into the cave. You will see many things in the cave, from stalagmites, stalactites, sacrificial artifacts, and even human remains. Now, you're not allowed to bring anything into the cave, no electronics, no camera, no phones, so you won't really be able to take any pictures or videos, but this is certainly an experience that you will never forget. That pretty much wraps up our time in San Ignacio. The next day is going to be a travel day where we're going to be going from our accommodation to the Crystal Auto city office to drop off the car, and then they're going to give us a ride from the city office to the water taxi in Belize City, which is what we're going to use to get to Key Calker. We're going to have 3 full days on Key Calker, and the motto of this island is go slow. The island is all about living on island time, so that's exactly what we're going to do. The first day, we're going to book a full day snorkeling experience with caveman tours. This is going to be some of the best snorkeling you've ever experienced. We're going to see stingrays, turtles, nurse sharks, manatees, and if you're lucky, you might even get to swim with an eagle ray. Make sure to wear tons of sunscreen and a rash guard as you'll be out on the water pretty much the entire day. The next 2 days on Key Calker are going to be spent just walking around the island with a few key stops to make. We'll want to get over to Stingray Beach at 4 p.m. on one of the days because that's when they feed the stingrays and you'll be able to see hundreds of stingrays. Not to mention, that's completely free. Another thing on our to-do list is to go on a bar crawl as the island is full of bars. We'll start off at the Lazy Lizard and work our way down to Itinerary bar at the end of the night to get all of our dancing out. We can also spend time playing football with the locals in front of the Lazy Lizard, and the ball will fall into the ocean a couple times, so you're gonna have to jump in to get the ball, but there's nothing to worry about there. And for the rest of the time on the island, we're pretty much just gonna be walking around, exploring, and doing things as they come. So that pretty much sums up the Belize itinerary. But wait a second, we didn't talk about food. So where do we eat in Belize? You truly can't go wrong with where you eat, so we're gonna explore as many different restaurants as we can. Some of the restaurants that we are absolutely going to stop at in San Ignacio include Coax Hana. This is probably the best food you will ever have in your life. Yep, I said it. Hands down, this is one of the best restaurants in the world. And you can take my word for it. The lamb curry here makes my mouth water just thinking about it. It's a local Belizean restaurant that is recommended by many travelers. It's definitely worth the hype though. Next up, we have Lola's Restaurant and Bar. The food here is phenomenal, and they offer classic food with a little bit of a local twist. The view from this restaurant is exceptional, as it's located on a hill offering breathtaking views of San Ignacio. Lastly, we have to stop at Guava Lim. Guava Lim provides a very unique dining experience, not only because of the food, but because of their staff, outdoor seating, and the cocktail selection. And a bonus for sweet treat lovers here is Country Barn. It's a farm located on the Hummingbird Highway that serves homemade ice cream. You can hang out at the barn, eat ice cream, and take in the scenery of the lush rainforest that surrounds you. This is a great spot for us to stop at on our way back from Angel Falls ziplining. While on Key Calker, here are a couple of the must-eat restaurants. Reina's is a local Belizean restaurant that serves mouth-watering food. Be prepared for a line during dinner time, as this is another highly recommended traveler restaurant. The food here is fresh off the grill and the staff are extremely friendly. You might even catch a traditional Belizean drumming show while eating dinner. The Pelican Sunset Bar, like the name suggests, is a great place to grab a bite to eat and enjoy the sunset. The vibes here are just immaculate. And if we are missing home, Lexi's Wineyard and Bistro is the spot to go. They offer food that's more continental, and if you want to pair it up with a wine night, well, look no further. The staff here are also extremely friendly, and they will make sure you have a great time. So that pretty much covers everything on our Belize trip. As for final costs, we're looking at around $1,500 to $2,000 per person. That's including flights, food, accommodation, and excursions. Cutting down on excursions and making food at home could bring the total down to the $1,000 mark. Some other tips I would keep in mind when visiting Belize is to bring bug spray. Lots and lots of bug spray. It is a rainforest after all, so you will encounter a ton of bugs. Pack reef-safe sunscreen to make sure we keep the second largest living barrier reef alive. Belize is humid, so you will be sweating a lot, so pack accordingly. And you can expect a long line at immigration when you arrive, since most of the airlines tend to land at similar times, which kind of jams up the line. However, there's not that issue when you're leaving. Complete your declaration form online. This will save you a ton of time at the airport, as you will find that people will be waiting in line trying to fill out their declaration form, whereas you will be able to fly right through because you've already done it online. And Belize is a super safe country. Just don't be stupid, don't travel alone at night, and you'll be fine. Most of the individuals in Belize are super friendly, as the largest source of income for the country's tourism, so they do want to make sure you have a good time. Thanks for planning a trip with me that I actually can't attend. So let me know in the comments below what other countries you want to see me plan for.